There is a kind of person who will clap for you in public and pray for your collapse in private. Seneca knew this person intimately. He lived inside the most dangerous court in the ancient world, surrounded by men who smiled while they measured his throat, and what he learned there was not a theory. It was survival. He learned that the people who want to destroy you rarely announce it. They disguise it as friendship. They disguise it as concern. They disguise it as love. And by the time you understand what happened, they have already won. Most people imagine an enemy as someone who screams at them, someone who fights in the open, someone whose hatred is loud enough to see coming. That is not how real damage happens. Real damage happens quietly over years, from someone standing close enough to hug you. Seneca wrote to a friend once that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. But he also understood the opposite truth, the one people forget. Sometimes the danger is real, and we imagine it away because facing it is too painful. We would rather believe a lie that feels warm than a truth that feels cold. And that single choice, made quietly, again and again, is how good people end up destroyed by those closest to them. So today we are going to do something uncomfortable. We are going to look directly at the 9 signs Seneca would recognize instantly. Signs that someone in your life does not want you to rise, does not want you to heal, does not want you to win. Not because they are evil in some cartoon sense, but because your success reminds them of everything they failed to become. And that reminder is unbearable to a certain kind of person. So instead of growing themselves, they will spend their whole life quietly trying to keep you small enough to stand next to. The first sign is silence. At the exact moment you needed noise. Think about the last time something wonderful happened to you. A promotion, a new relationship, a dream finally becoming real. Now think about who stayed quiet. Not the strangers, the people close to you, the ones who should have been the loudest, and instead offered a flat "that's great" and changed the subject within seconds. Seneca warned that we should judge people not by what they say in your absence, but by what they fail to say in your presence. Silence at your success is not neutral, it is a verdict. The second sign is advice that always leans toward caution. No matter the situation, somebody in your life will tell you to wait. Always wait. Wait to leave the job. Wait to start the business. Wait to leave the relationship that is quietly killing you. At first, this sounds like wisdom. Seneca himself preached patience. But there is a brutal difference between someone teaching you patience to protect you and someone teaching you hesitation to protect themselves from watching you outgrow them. Real wisdom pushes you toward growth with open eyes. Fear disguised as wisdom only ever pushes you towards staying still. The third sign is harder to see because it hides behind humor. It's the friend who jokes about your failures in front of others, the comment about your last business that didn't work, the playful reminder of the time you got hurt, dressed up as banter, timed perfectly for the moment you're trying to be taken seriously. Seneca called this the cruelest kind of wound, the one delivered with a smile, because it cannot be confronted without you looking dramatic. That is exactly why they choose humor as the weapon. It is violence with plausible deniability. The fourth sign is comparison disguised as motivation. At least you're better off than so-and-so. Well, not everyone can be like you. These sentences sound like compliments. Listen closer. They are designed to shrink your achievement into something ordinary, something forgettable, something that never quite deserves celebration. Seneca understood that envy never announces itself as envy. It always wears the mask of realism, of humility, of just being honest with you. But honesty does not need to diminish you to exist. Only insecurity does that. Here is where the pattern starts to deepen, because sign 5 is the one most people mistake for loyalty. Someone who agrees with every doubt you have about yourself. You share an insecurity, expecting comfort, and instead they quietly confirm it. You say, maybe I'm not ready for this. And instead of challenging that fear, they nod. Seneca lived through betrayal from men who never lied to him outright. They simply never corrected the lies he told himself. And silence in the face of someone's self-doubt is not kindness. It is permission for their smallness to survive. The sixth sign will make you uncomfortable because it happens inside families more than anywhere else. It's someone who only shows generosity when they can be seen giving it. Gifts with witnesses, help that requires an audience, support that vanishes the moment no one is there to notice the sacrifice. Seneca despised this kind of performance more than open cruelty because at least cruelty is honest about what it wants. Performed generosity steals your gratitude while giving you nothing real in return, and worse, it makes you feel guilty for ever questioning it. Now we arrive at something darker, something Seneca understood from the throne room itself, the seventh sign, which is someone who only reappears in your life when you are struggling. You go quiet for months while things are good, and the moment a crisis hits, suddenly they are calling, suddenly they are checking in, suddenly they are present in a way they never were during your victories. This is not concern. This is comfort in your collapse, because your pain does not threaten them. Your rise does. And a person who values your presence more during your worst moments than your best ones is not loving you. They are managing you. The eighth sign is subtler than all the others, and it is the one Seneca feared most in his own life. Someone who withholds information that could help you simply because helping you would place you ahead of them. A missed introduction, an opportunity mentioned too late to matter, a warning that arrives after the damage is already done. Seneca watched men in Nero's court do this constantly, smiling allies who let their peers walk blindly into failure because failure kept the hierarchy comfortable. This is the sign most people never catch, because it isn't an action, it's an absence. And absences are invisible until you finally count how many times they happened. And now, the ninth sign, the one that ties every other sign together, the one Seneca would call the truest test of all. It is someone who needs you to need them. Watch how they react when you become capable, confident, self-sufficient. Watch their tone shift when you stop asking for their opinion on everything. Watch how subtly they undermine your independence, dressing control as concern, dressing possession as love. Because the deepest fear inside a person who secretly wants you to fail is not that you'll struggle, it's that you'll succeed without needing them at all. Your freedom is the one thing they cannot forgive. Now here is the twist, the layer most people miss entirely. When they hear a list like this, these 9 signs are almost never found in obvious enemies. They are found in the people sitting closest to you at dinner, the ones who call themselves your best friend, the ones who share your blood, the ones who say, "I only want what's best for you," while quietly building a version of your life that keeps you small enough to remain beneath them. Seneca did not write his warnings for strangers passing in the street. He wrote them because he had been betrayed by men who ate at his table. And here is the deeper truth beneath all of this, the one that turns this video from a warning into a mirror. Seneca did not just want you to identify these people. He wanted you to ask a far more dangerous question. Have you ever done this to someone else? Have you ever gone quiet during a friend's success because it stirred something ugly in your chest? Have you ever offered realistic doubt instead of honest belief because their rise reminded you of your own stagnation? This is the brutal honesty Seneca demanded of himself daily. Writing letters at night, reviewing every action, every intention, every hidden motive, because the line between victim and villain in this story is not fixed. It moves depending on how honestly you're willing to look at yourself. But let's return to protecting you, because that matters more right now. What do you do when you recognize these signs in someone close to you? Seneca's answer was never revenge. It was never confrontation for the sake of drama. His answer was distance without hatred. You do not need to declare war on someone who wants you to fail. You simply need to stop feeding them access to your dreams. Stop announcing your plans to people who flinch at your progress. Stop seeking approval from those who have already shown you again and again that your growth makes them uncomfortable. Silence is armor, distance is wisdom, and boundaries, quiet and unexplained, are sometimes the most powerful weapon a wise person owns. Because here is what Seneca understood better than almost anyone in history. You cannot control who envies you. You cannot control who wants to see you fail. That is a fact of being alive, a fact of being visible, a fact of daring to want more than survival. But you can control who gets close enough to influence your belief in yourself. You can control whose doubts you absorb as truth. And that single decision, made consistently over years, is the difference between a life shaped by other people's fear and a life built on your own quiet, unshaken resolve. Think about how much of your hesitation was never truly yours. How many dreams you shelved because someone close to you called it unrealistic. How many risks you didn't take because someone you trusted looked worried instead of proud. How much of your smallness was actually inherited, handed to you by people who needed you to stay exactly where you were, so they never had to face what your growth reflected back at them. This is the wound Seneca spent his life trying to heal in himself. Sitting in exile, stripped of power, forced to ask which of his so-called friends had truly wished him well and which had simply enjoyed the show of his fall. So here is the final truth, the one this entire video was built to deliver. The people who secretly want you to fail will almost never say it out loud. They will smile at your dinner table. They will call you on your birthday. They will say, "I'm proud of you," while something colder moves behind their eyes. And the tragedy is not that these people exist. The tragedy is how long good people spend defending them, explaining them away, choosing comfort over clarity, silence over truth. Because admitting the truth means grieving a relationship you thought was real. But Seneca would tell you this: grief is not the enemy here. Delusion is. It is better to lose 100 false allies than to keep one person quietly working against you while you call them family. It is better to walk alone for a season than to be surrounded by people who feel safest when you are small. Because your life, the only one you will ever get, was never meant to be shrunk down to fit inside someone else's comfort. It was meant to expand, loudly, unapologetically, and without permission from anyone who flinches at your becoming. So the next time you feel that flicker of doubt about someone close to you, that silence that felt too heavy, that advice that felt too cautious, that joke that cut a little too deep, do not silence yourself to protect their comfort. Seneca did not survive an empire built on betrayal by ignoring his instincts. He survived by trusting them, sharpening them, and building a life immune to the poison of people who smiled while they waited for his fall. Because in the end, the ones who truly love you will celebrate your rise as if it were their own, and the ones who don't were never walking beside you at all. They were only ever waiting behind you, watching, hoping you would trip so they would never have to face the terrifying question of why they never ran.